All right, going live in 10. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Rotoworld Basketball Fantasy Basketball Q&A. I'm Raphielle Johnson, joined as always by Noah Rubin. Noah, NBA Cup Championship Day. Reminder for you fantasy managers out there, this game does not count towards official stats or fantasy leagues. So, yeah, opportunity to enjoy some good basketball, hopefully, with a championship and some extra money on the line.
Yeah, and I think especially Knicks and Spurs fans. So I know it just means a little bit more because your team is in it. And if your team isn't in it, then you're probably like, who cares? It's just the in-season tournament anyway. Yeah. But if your team's in it, it means something and it's fun. But it'll be good to watch. I mean, two teams that have earned it. Like Knicks are playing well. The Spurs just beat the Thunder, and they're also playing well. So it should be a fun game.
Yeah, Spurs fans have at least seen their team win a championship while they're alive for the most part. Like, if you're in my age bracket, we have not seen it. So, obviously, NBA Cup is not the same as an NBA championship, but it's something.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah. All right, we got some questions lined up in the queue already, so we'll just get right into those. Wemby is back. Thank you, sir. 9-cat 12 team, would you drop Bobby Portis for Cal Filipowski? Is it not time yet?
I'm interested to see how things look in Utah over the next couple games.
Yeah.
Like, are they actually making a shift mid-December? Like, I think they should.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis is playing really well, though. Giannis isn't, that close. It's still a couple of weeks out, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'd probably wait a little bit just because this isn't a guarantee that Utah's all of a sudden just fully pulled the plug. I think we might just see it happen here and there, especially against maybe teams that aren't currently in the playoff picture that would be out of playoffs if the season ends today. I think, Dallas is still a couple games out. So I'd probably hold off a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think I would drop Portis for him right now. The reason you mentioned, Giannis still being out, don't know exactly when he'll be back. I think Portis is someone who's good to have rostered for the time being. There will come a point where you absolutely have to have Cal Filipowski rostered. They gave Nurkic the night off last night. We'll get there eventually. I just don't think it's time to add him in favor of someone who's playing good minutes right now. So that specific transaction, I would hold off on right now. You'd also like to know when Brandon Clark returns, should we add him, or is it okay to leave him alone?
I leave him alone. I mean, we know that he, I guess, has in the past had some fantasy success, but it's been a little while. He's been relatively, I would say, just injured for most of his career. He's probably going to be on some sort of minutes restriction. I think the opportunity of, hey, Zach Edey's out makes it seem like, okay, that's a little enticing. Yeah. But my expectations aren't very high for Brandon Clark.
Yeah, he's got a pretty rough injury history in recent years too. So that's all the more reason to assume he's not going to play significant minutes early on once he returns. So I would leave him alone. Now, we get the 4 weeks, and he's playing more minutes, and they announce that Zach Edey's going to have to miss more time. Then I think you can strongly consider adding him. But for now, I would hold off. All right. You also like to know, do you think Jalen Tyson should retain his value once the Cavs are fully healthy? Which play? Oh, man. I guess if you were going to try to add Jalen Tyson, what type of player would you consider dropping him for, I guess? Because I don't.
I think he's worth adding because I think there's also this, I think the question almost implies that the Cavs will be fully healthy, and that hasn't really been the case this season. I think it's almost more of if the Cavs are fully healthy, does he retain his value? And he came off the bench in their last game, if I'm not mistaken. And recorded a double-double. Yeah, and had played 36 minutes, recorded a double-double. Obviously, Evan Mobley's out. they really haven't been healthy for much of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that game, and I don't know if it was just like a hot hand situation, but he played considerably more minutes than DeAndre Hunter, about 9 more minutes than DeAndre Hunter. So I think that Jalen Tyson is a player to roster at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. He's one of the few guys in that team who seems to be playing like consistent energy as well, and good defender. They're going to need him in that rotation. So I think certainly worth adding. We still don't know exactly when Max Strus will be back. Sam Merrill's hand issue seems to be getting more frustrating by the week, based on their recent reports. So those are 2 guys he'd be competing with for rotation minutes who aren't available, and we don't know when they'll be back. So I would for sure hop on that bandwagon. DeAndre Hunter's not going to give you much in the defensive categories. So I don't think he's a very good fantasy option if you're in category leagues personally. So I think Jalen Tyson, he's played well enough, should definitely take a look into picking him up. Okay. Isaac would like to know, is Santi Aldama a clear hold with Zach Edey out? 12-team 9K head-to-head? I mean, yeah.
I mean, I would say yes. I want to say when I looked, he didn't do much yesterday, did he? No, it was rough, but started and played 31 minutes. I think if he's starting playing 30-plus minutes, yes, he is a must-roster player, even if this last game wasn't good, because also the 2 before that were really good. So.
Yeah, I'd hold on to him. Should ask if Cam Spencer is worth adding. John Morant rolled his ankle late last night. Cam's played pretty well, regardless of role. I think once Ja came back, it was quite clear that he would be a better fantasy option than Vince Williams Sr. We've discussed this before. And I don't know if he's going to score 27 with 7 3-pointers consistently, but he's like 13 of 15 over his last 2 games from 3, something like that. So
if you don't miss, it's kind of hard to be bad in fantasy. You know, just kind of stop missing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He'd also like to know, same league format, Jakob Poeltl. Would you drop him for either a teammate of his or become a streaming spot?
Don't think I'd drop him for a teammate, unless it's like Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, or Scotty Barnes sitting on your waiver wire, which isn't happening. I'm not dropping Jakob Poeltl yet, and I know there are probably some people that are tired of Jakob Poeltl and ready to drop him. I don't think that he's just not good anymore. I think that the minutes have been a little funky. I think they're trying to get him up to speed somewhat, it seems like. So I think that the minutes will increase as he is able to stay healthy and play more games, and the production will go back up as a result. But it probably has been frustrating enough that 2 months into the season, you probably are ready to drop him. So I get it.
Yeah, I'd hold on to him. He's got clear top 100 potential. You're probably going to have to wait a little while for that to happen, but I would hold on to him. I certainly wouldn't look to add like a Sandro Mamukelashvili or Colin Murray-Boyles for him, because those guys don't really produce enough, especially when Poeltl is still starting. So I would hold on to him for a bit. And, if you hit a point like end of the month where you want to look into making that a streaming spot, fine. But I think right now is a little too early to do that. All right, last question from Isaac. 4th place with a huge games played cushion this week. Should he hold on to Ace Bailey through his 5-game slump or move on?
I would say hold on, because especially if you're in 4th, and I would just wait so that he can help you out during the fantasy playoffs, because he's going to keep starting. And I think that as he plays more games and as Utah shifts more towards, hey, we actually really do need lottery odds that are really good this year. Yeah, he'll get more minutes and he'll get more opportunities to work through his mistakes or through his developmental period. So there will be some rough games, but I think we'll also get some really fun ones in there.
Yeah, I think if you have him right now, you might as well stay patient, because he wasn't really someone whose production to this point in the season really warranted being rostered in like standard leagues, in my opinion. Had some moments for sure, but I don't think I would be making room for him on a 12-teamer. But since you have him, you might as well stick with him for a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Go Knicks. I agree, Rizzy. Hope we get a win night. But, all right. Clint, good afternoon to you as well. What are our thoughts on Shaedon Sharpe for the rest of the season? Obviously, he's been playing well at a really big night on Sunday against the Warriors. So, what do you think about Shaedon?
I mean, yeah, like playing well. I don't think too much has changed. We had expectations that he would be better this year. He started off rough, figured things out, got hurt, came back, was rough at first. Now he's coming off one of his best games of the season. The 4 steals that he had, I mean, the steals have been better this year. He's up to 1.4 per game, which is a nice leap for him, but not exactly a consistent output type of stat. So maybe we don't get 1 point, almost a steal and a half per game, but steals are pretty good, but it's mostly about getting points and threes from him. I think those will both be there pretty consistently.
Yeah, he's improved his shooting too. He's up to 49% over the last 2 weeks. So certainly a good spot there. I'm not sure if he can sustain that level of shooting for an entire season just because his profile for his career really doesn't lend itself to that. But I like him. I think he's in a pretty good spot in terms of fantasy value and his opportunities. Even if Portland were to have a shift in approach and decide they want to play for a lottery pick for some reason, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they did, he's someone I think is still going to play plenty down the stretch. And Jeremy Grant's name has come up in trade rumors recently. So they move him. I think there's even more room for Sharpe and some others to kind of get some more usage offensively. So I like where he is right now, and I think he can be pretty good overall for the rest of the season too. All right, Kevin Huerter or Dean Wade streaming in an 8-cat from Bronx Bomber.
I'm going to say no to Dean Wade just because he's not he's starting. He's not a consistent fantasy producer. I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. Kevin Huerter, on the other hand, let's look at what he's been up to.
Yeah, he just came back recently,
and had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested in Kevin Huerter. If I'm choosing between the two, it's without a doubt Kevin Huerter.
Yeah.
Do I have to choose between the two? I might want to look at someone else, but I don't think Huerter's a bad option.
Yeah. He had 4 steals the other night. Don't really expect that to become the norm for him, but
no.
You'll get some shooting, some 3-pointers from him when he comes off the bench. So I would prefer Huerter of these 2 options as well. Right. Kyle would like to know, is Cam Spencer officially that MF after last night's performance? Yes. I think
he is.
Yeah. 7 for 8 from 3. I think, yeah.
Clippers should have drafted him, apparently.
Yeah, he had no problem telling someone on that bench what he thought of
poor Cam Christie.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who said what on the Clippers bench, but yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing really to say about that.
No.
All right. Bronx Bomber would also like to know, Ryan Nembhard or Davion Mitchell in an 8-cat typically could use more threes and better percentages.
Well, let's see. Because right now I'm only super interested in either for assists and steals for Davion Mitchell pretty typically, but the percentage, at least the field goal percentage has been good. The free throw percentage has been subpar, but he doesn't shoot many, and he only gets you about 1 3 per game this season. As for Nembhard, I think by this, if you're looking for more threes and percentages, I think I'm looking more for Ryan Nembhard. Yeah. He's been, since moving into the starting lineup, aside from the really bad game against the Nets, pretty consistent, points, assists. Doesn't really get the steals, which you don't need. The field goal percentage has been pretty good. So, yeah, I think I would lean Ryan Nembhard in this scenario.
Yeah, I think in terms of the areas that you mentioned where you need more, you can use more production, I think Nemhard's the pick here. What I would say in favor of Davion is that Tyler Hero's toe injury flared up last night. He's a late scratch. So you take that, you take the Nikola Jovic arm injury. Still waiting for an update on that. He's supposed to get an MRI today. There was no fracture, but when you get taken off the court with an air cast, I think there's still going to be some concern. So I think for those reasons, I can argue for Davion, but I think at this point in time, I'd probably go Ryan Nemhard as well.
The MRIs did. Like it was just they're both day to day. Like it didn't.
Okay,
the tweets that I saw was
yeah,
elbow contusion / laceration for Jovic and a right big toe contusion for Tyler Hero. It's just they're just day to day. So
all right, appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Clark Kent. Who should I drop to activate Zion from IL? Ryan Nemhard, Maxime Reynaud, Jeremiah Fears, or Cedric Coward? 12-team head-to-head 9 cap.
Gosh, I was like, O Ward. Who is O Ward? I was like, I know O Max, but I'm like, I thought I was just totally missing someone. Cedric Coward. Okay, that makes sense. Probably Reynaud. Jeremiah Fears and Cedric Coward, I assume, are starting rest of the season.
Yeah.
Nimhard, I assume, is starting rest of the season, but I guess that feels less like a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
But when Sabonis comes back, which based on the initial timeline, I think could be somewhat soon if all goes according to plan. Maxime Reynaud is going to head back to the bench. Let's see, it was 3 to 4 weeks initially for Sabonis, and that was November 20th. So literally could be any day unless there's a newer update that I'm missing. But I think Reynaud's time as a starter feels the most limited, so I would say him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we'll see how long Drew Eubanks is out with his thumb injury, but even if he's available, I think it's quite clear that Reynaud needs to be ahead of him in a rotation at least.
Yeah.
Once Sabonis is back. So, but you're activating Zion Williamson. It's not like you're activating like a second string power forward / center. So I think you can afford to part ways with Reynaud right now. I like the position where the other three guys are as well in their respective rotations. So I would not be dropping them. All right. What are our thoughts on Osar Thompson the rest of the season? You holding or dropping?
So I haven't dropped him anywhere yet. Excuse me. I haven't dropped him in any category leagues yet. Points. I think I have a points league where I was just like, yeah, this isn't working. I think he's doing the things that we knew he could do. Yeah. He hasn't really improved in other areas. Like the rebounds are pretty good for a wing. He's getting the steals. The field goal percentage is fine. The assists are okay. I don't know. I think that if you drafted him for a specific build where you're really leaning into his strengths, then no, you're probably good. But if you can't deal with some of the weaknesses like the abysmal free throw shooting or like the complete lack of threes and some of the lack of pop in other categories, then it's I think it's okay to maybe consider dropping him, but I haven't dropped him in any leagues that I have, any category leagues.
Yeah. I think this is very much a question of where your team is in the standings. Now, if you're higher up, I think you can afford to wait a little bit longer. If not, you probably have to move on. I think he's someone that you may be able to sell on a trade for another like low cost option, I guess you would say. But yeah, I don't think I would drop him outright. I would try to move on from him though if I needed a boost in the standings. But yeah, I don't think he's an outright drop just because of what he does bring to the table. Now the negatives are serious negatives. You talk about a guy shooting 52% from the foul line. Last night against the Celtics, no defensive stats either. I think it was just points and rebounds for him. So there are concerns, and Detroit has a deep rotation right now with just about everyone back. So I would try to trade him before considering dropping him outright. All right, JDA. I lost Evan Mobley the same day I told you I lost Giannis, Wagner, LaMelo, and Edie. Help me. Give me some names to look out for.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Would happily give you, if you give us some names, tell you
Yeah.
who to, like, whether we think you should
Let's
pick them
see.
up or not. As far as like these guys, I think in Cleveland, we talked about Jalen Tyson earlier with Giannis, like Bobby Portis would be the pickup. In Orlando, Anthony Black, Charlotte. I mean, KJ Simpson to an extent. I'm not super excited about that, but like a little excited. And then Memphis, it's probably Santi Aldama. I know Jock Landale started beginning of the season when Edie was out, but now they're probably making the better decision starting Aldama. So most of those guys are probably already rostered. So
I can't believe I'm going to recommend this name to you just because you know my history with this individual. But Jeremy Grant is only rostered in 43% of Yahoo leagues right now. And, there are reasons for that. Obviously, you're not going to get much rebounding. But the way I look at it with the guys you have listed here, you're without 4 front court players. And he's got small forward and power forward eligibility. I think he can help in that regard if you're looking to fill, one or both of those spots specifically. So, again, you're not going to get much rebounding, but he's scoring at a much higher clip than he has in the past. And he's doing it on, 44% from the field isn't great, but it could be a lot worse for him. Shooting well from the foul line, he's getting you about 2.5 3-pointers per game. So I think he's someone to consider who may be available. So, and he also, let's see, he mentions further down here, best options, Kalkbrenner, Spencer. I assume it's Cam Spencer and then Jeremy Grant. So Kalkbrenner's not going to get you much, but he will get you the rebounds and blocks and good field goal percentage. And Spencer's on a heater right now. So I wouldn't have an issue with any of those guys personally.
Yeah, I could depend on some categories there, like with Kalkbrenner versus Jeremy Grant. Those are probably the two I'd prefer over Spencer. Maybe that's just me not getting on board the hype train, but I feel a little bit more confident that they won't get just completely bumped out of the rotation, whereas that's going to be a possibility with Spencer.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, welcome back. Is Jakob Pertl a drop in ESPN Points Weekly Games Cap League? 150 rostered, 4 IR spots.
I'd say 150 players rostered, probably not.
Yeah.
I think, if it's a games cap league, I'd probably just be fine just to have him sit on the bench for a little bit until he figures things out rather than just straight up dropping him. I think that's probably where I would go.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. Okay, we do not know the severity of Ja's ankle sprain. He did stay on the bench after they took him out. So that may be a positive sign. And they were up pretty big at that point too. It's just unfortunate that the guy just can't seem to stay healthy, really. So we may be back to where Vince Williams is making some starts, but I would strongly recommend going with Cam Spencer instead if you're looking for someone to stream if Ja misses time. He'll get you assists and some steals, but the percentages are absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Which one do you prefer in a 9-cat 12-teamer, Isaiah Collier or Walter Clayton Jr.?
Let's see what those minutes have been at for them. Their last game, Isaiah Collier played 31 minutes to Walter Clayton's 13.
Yeah.
I don't think Isaiah Collier's been playing that many minutes recently, has he?
No, their minutes have been about even the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Probably lean towards Collier, but honestly, the better choice would probably be in a 12-team league, neither of them.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's definitely fair. I would not deal with either of those guys. But if you had to pick one, I think I would say Collier just because of the defense and the assist. But you're not going to get a whole lot from a scoring standpoint from him. So I don't think either one would be a great option for a 12-team league right now. All right. Is Jeremy Sohan bad, or are the Spurs too deep?
I would say it's more the depth issue. But he's also not been a great fantasy basketball player throughout his career. And he hasn't been able to do much when given the opportunity this year. And I think now that they are pretty healthy, it's I don't think he's worth hanging on to, basically.
Yeah, he's not a bad basketball player. It's just that they have a lot of good basketball players. A lot of them are better than him at this point. So,
yeah.
Maybe we see him some tonight, having to probably throw some different looks at Jalen Brunson. But like we said, this game does not actually count. So,
yeah, I'm trying to quickly look at some of these just like advanced stats for him, and it's just he hasn't been very effective. So
All right. Dynasty question coming up. Do you expect Ace and Newell to trend up with Porzingis on the shelf for a while? Do you like his long-term outlook more than Mo Gay?
So, okay, do we expect him to trend up? I think he'll get more of an opportunity, obviously, with Kristaps Porzingis out, just because they kind of have to turn to him. I think he's a better real-life player than he is fantasy player. I think he's a nice, like, reserve forward. At this point of his career, a reserve forward that high energy that can make an impact on games, but isn't going to make a huge impact on the box score. Not a great rebounder. I mean, the shot has been much better than, or like good enough when that was kind of a question mark coming in. So I'm assuming he'll get an opportunity. He'll probably have some nice flashes here. I think he's like a good player. Not sure how productive he'll be in fantasy basketball. And he's still kind of small to be playing center minutes, and Okongwu isn't the biggest center either. So it's just, I don't know. I think we could see him trending up if he is able to have some pretty good opportunities. I just don't see him as this great fantasy player, which is why the second part of this question, I would have Mo Gay ranked higher long-term in Dynasty. I think his game is way more fantasy friendly. He gets more defensive stats. We've seen him have some really, really big nights when he's given the opportunity. So I would have Mo Gay ranked higher. I think both are young and exciting players, though. So I'm excited to see how this looks with Porzingis unavailable.
All right. Crystal ball. Who has more field goal attempts the rest of the season? Dillon Brooks or Devin Booker?
Gosh. Do you know what how many shot attempts each of them is averaging right now?
Let's see here.
No, I have it. I'm saying, do you want to like?
They're even. It's like 17-8
Yeah.
Booker, 17-6 for Brooks. Yeah, I got that up too.
Insane that it's that close. I know. I mean, oh gosh. Yeah, that's like I remember being just so excited about Devin Booker this year because I was like, I know Jalen Green is there, I know Dillon Brooks is there, but this is Devin Booker we're talking about, guys. Like, he's gonna get every shot he wants, and he's gonna get the assists. That really hasn't happened. Now Dillon Brooks has been good, but I was hoping a very monster Devin Booker season. I mean, like it has to be Devin Booker. Like I feel like I can't say Dillon Brooks, but it is absolutely a conversation. It's a question to be asked, which is scary and terrifying.
If it's not Devin Booker, something is gone terribly wrong, and that's beyond fantasy basketball. Like, Dillon has played well. He's their best defender, and as we've seen with him, when he takes on that responsibility, it comes with the understanding that he's going to believe he should get to fire up some more shots on offense. Thus far, it's worked out pretty well overall, but I don't know. There's always a concern that the floor will just fall out from under him at some point, and then it's just absolutely nasty what his percentages look like. So I think Booker will end up with more field goal attempts, but I don't blame you for being a bit salty about how things have played out either. All right, 12-team 9-cat head-to-head. Is there any concern, or what are your thoughts with Giddey's rest of season outlook? It seems like Kobe White wants to be the alpha, and I need Giddey to justify the pick that I used on it.
There have been Kobe White trade rumors. Those exist. If you're looking for some copium here, just to make yourself feel a little bit better about Josh Giddey, I'm probably not the person to provide it, because I was pretty low on Josh Giddey in comparison to most other people. And things have been very, very, very rough in Chicago. I mean, yeah. I mean, this little stretch here. They've lost to New Orleans twice, Indiana twice, Charlotte and Brooklyn. They did beat Charlotte once in there, but it's been a rough go the past 3 weeks for Chicago. And I don't know. I guess the silver lining here is, hey, the reason people picked Josh Giddey this high is because of what he did the final 2 months of last season.
Yep.
The final 2 months are 2 months away. So hopefully you get something then.
Yeah, I think Giddey will be all right. The trade rumors of Kobe White, he's in a contract year. It's kind of baked into how, and plus he wasn't available to start the year because of the calf injury. That's all kind of, I think things will level out eventually with Kobe. It feels like he's kind of trying to make up for lost time, right? Just getting up all the shots he can right now. But I think things will level out. And with Giddey, it's not just the scoring, it's the rebounding, it's the assist that he can get you that should get you to the fancy value that you were expecting when the season began. So I think he will be okay. I wouldn't panic at all. All right. Marco Magnetic. Do you think Tobias Harris can get back to his boring, reliable self of previous seasons?
Gosh, is it a guarantee right now that Tobias Harris stays in Detroit? Like, this is a team that's playing really, really well, and he hasn't been.
Yeah.
So I think that, with his salary, if I'm not mistaken, because this is his second year here, so this would be the last year of his contract, like expiring contract, they could absolutely move him. And maybe he ends up in a different situation where he's a little bit higher usage, gets to be a little bit more productive, but it's been pretty rough so far. I would I want to say yes, just because it shouldn't be that drastic of a change for him to get back to being that. But even if he does, is that really worth the wait?
Yeah. I think the issue for him also is how deep that team is. You've got off the bench, you got Karis LeVert, you've got Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart. They've used him at the 4 and had some success throughout this season, when Tobias was out. So with his salary and the contract situation, it feels like a spot where if Detroit wanted to take a swing without doing serious damage to their rotation, he could be the one that gets moved. So I don't know. I think he probably needs a trade elsewhere to get back to his boring self, but I don't think you can afford to wait. The trade deadline is 6 weeks away, so, or a little longer than that, probably about 7, I would say. But yeah, I don't know if he's worth waiting on when you look at that roster, how well so many guys on that team have been playing. We've seen Javonte Green get good minutes recently. Still got Ron Holland in the mix as well. So yeah, I think he can, but he's probably going to need a change of scenery that you may not be able to wait for. Okay, another 12-team 9-cat question from Isaac. A manager is shopping Jalen Duren. I love his start, but lately it's been looking awkward. Is he a dude you'd be targeting to get on your squad?
Gosh, this is the first negative Jalen Duren thing I've heard
Yeah.
all season. I guess it has been a couple of rough games recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be looking to add Jalen Duren. I don't think his production. I mean, it'd be a good time to buy low, I think.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
maybe that lowers the price a little bit. Maybe it's someone that's saying they don't want him anymore because he's struggling a little bit, but they're still expecting the price that you'd have to pay from when he was putting up 20-20s and 30-point double-doubles. So depends on what you can give up to get him. But yeah, I think I'd be looking at him.
Yeah, he's a definite buy low right now. And he's just outside the top 150 over the last 2 weeks, according to Basketball Monster, but season long value is still top 50. So I think what he brings to the table, especially if you need rebounding, field goal percentage, he's certainly someone that I would be targeting. So yeah, I would go ahead and try to pick that up. All right, Melikata's got a 16-team question here. Would you go for Josh Hart if you could offer Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma?
Yes. You're getting Josh Hart and giving up Miles Turner and Kyle. Yes, I'm doing this.
I'm biased, but hell yes. Get it done. Especially if you're in a category league. I think Josh brings a lot more to the table. It doesn't feel like he's going to be moving to the bench anytime soon, which is probably good for the Knicks. So, yeah, if you can offer those two, because right now I think Turner's been a disappointment in fantasy this year. I don't think there's too much controversy in that statement. Kuzma's value really depends on Giannis being out. So if you can make that move now, I think I would do this without hesitation if I were you. All right. Do you think Jaden Ivey will be worth a roster spot in standard 12-team category head-to-head leagues, either as a starter or legit six-man? And this is for this season, not like will he ever get back to that point. So.
I think so. It's just going to take him getting back to or getting up to playing 25 plus minutes. Maybe if we can get him to 30, then I think there will be some standard league value here.
Yeah, he played 21 last night.
So that was a season high, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's a sign that he's getting closer. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like to say yes is like the most optimistic outlook. It's like not only is he going to, his minutes are going to get up, but he's also going to play the best basketball of his career despite missing the first month of the season. I want to say yes, but I don't know. What do you think? I'm like stuck here because I'm like, I want to say
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, I think he can. I just don't know if I can guarantee that he will. You know, I think that may be your stumbling block as well with this, just because, you know, last night was the first time he surpassed 20 minutes in a game this season. Given how they've handled his process in terms of playing time, it's probably going to be a little while before he gets like 25. He's probably going to need to hit like 28 minutes per night to provide like that type of value. And same with Tobias Harris. This roster's just got so many options on it that it may be difficult for Ivy to hit that point this season. Maybe a question more for like 26, 27 as opposed to this current season, if anything. Good problem to have if you're the Pistons, I'll say that much. And 21-5. So. All right, Marco, you're welcome. Glad to help you with the Tobias Harris analysis. It says most likely going to drop him for Robert Williams to get those rebounds and blocks. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I think that's probably like you're just dropping the boring option, getting the upside
Yeah.
option that can at least make an impact in a couple categories. So
Mhm.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. 11 rebounds in 19 minutes the other night too for the Time Lord. So okay. Gut call, yes or no. Do these players get moved in season this year? In the 4 players he mentions, Zion, Ja, LaMelo Ball, and Giannis, and that's for obviously the 25-26 season.
I'm gonna say no Zion, no LaMelo. No, I'm gonna say no to everyone. Maybe I'm just boring, or I'm expecting it to be boring, but I just can't really see anyone wanting to pay mid-season, like giving up draft picks for Zion, Ja, or LaMelo right now.
Yeah.
Just because, not because they're not talented enough to be deserving of those, but because it's probably going to take that. And I wouldn't really want to mortgage my future on players that have really, really struggled to stay healthy recently. And that you kind of have to tailor the offense to. So, and then Giannis, I think a lot of people or a lot of teams would be interested, but they're probably not going to be able to meet Milwaukee's asking price. I think that's probably
Yeah.
more of an off-season move.
Yeah, I don't think anyone gets moved in season. None of these 4. Yeah, I'd be shocked if any of them were traded just because of their cap numbers and what you would have to move in order to make that happen. And his follow-up question is, let's see, if the new apron rules didn't exist, like that's the big thing right there. You know, the various salary cap aprons, the luxury tax. There's a lot more, far more hurdles for teams that have to clear here. So, yeah, I don't. That would probably change. I don't know which one it would change my answer for. Definitely not Giannis, because that's one of those moves that you're gonna have to demand a lot for him, regardless of what the salary cap situation is. But maybe for like LaMelo, it might change something, but not Giannis. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and calf injuries. Yeah, I don't have any insight on this, Spike. I'm just as confused as you are.
Yeah, I think from what I've read, it's a lot like the pace of play and the amount of movement that we see from players in each game, like both on both ends of the floor, and just like the different types of movements. It's like that would be my assumption, but again, neither of us are medical experts, so it would just be kind of, echoing what we've read.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Case and Wallace or Dylan Harper, 9-cat, 12 team.
I would, gosh. If you need steals, I think Case and Wallace. If you don't need steals, then I think Dylan Harper. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that take. So if you aren't super interested in Case and Wallace's steals, then it's got to be Dylan Harper to me, even though it's been a little bit inconsistent. He's a rookie, and he's still been playing 20 to 25 minutes off the bench, even with Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox back. So he'll have his, hey, he's not even 20 years old yet type of struggles, but I'd rather take the upside there.
Yeah, I'll take Dylan Harper as well. Because even if Kaysen plays like starters minutes, you're still in the rotation it as SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. And those guys can command serious usage offensively. So, yeah, I'll take Dylan Harper. Obviously, you've got Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, Steph Castle, but they've been willing to give all 3 of those wings ample minutes recently. So I would go Dylan Harper as well. Let's talk some Jonathan Kuminga. Would you be targeting Kuminga buy low, thinking he gets traded and thrives somewhere? Does he have clear upside at this point? I'm so unsure of how to evaluate him with Steve Kerr's treatment. I agree.
Yes, the Steve Kerr
Yeah.
factor here is one of the most unpredictable in fantasy basketball. I'm not super interested in trading for Jonathan Kuminga and like a buy low, just off the chance that he gets traded and gets to thrive. But could I consider adding him off the waiver wire? Maybe, but I'm still not quite as interested because, yeah, I'm not super interested. Maybe a little bit more interested in a points league.
Yeah, I'm not. I think buy low implies making a trade for him. Now, if he's on the waiver wire, think about it, but I'm not looking to give up any assets to acquire him. Like, he can't be traded until mid-January at the earliest. So if you're to do something now, you're waiting for a month essentially, because it's absolutely wild that he went from he's going to be a consistent starter to he's not playing at all, and they need to get that man out of there. Like that, that much is certain. But yeah, it's very difficult to evaluate a player when their opportunities fluctuate as wildly as his have. So let's see here. Okay, did Jaren Jackson Jr. figure it out last night, or is it a fluke given the season so far? I love his upside if he still actually has it.
Hopefully it's not just a fluke and that he can, like, this is like okay, he's starting to figure things out, because not only was the offense clicking, but the defense was clicking. Like, I think we talked about this on the last Q&A. It's like he's got to like start hitting shots at some point in order for this to be fixed, and he did. Yeah. He started hitting shots, and he also had a season or matched the season. No, he didn't match the season high. Almost hit a season high for blocks.
Yeah.
So I think, hopefully that it's not like a buy low window is completely closed, but it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to trade for him at this point.
Yeah, and you also have to factor in who they played against. Like, the Clippers are a flat-out bad basketball team right now.
It's crazy.
Like, yeah, I think I was watching the Grizzlies broadcast, and they were wondering why Brook Lopez wasn't playing. I think it's like 9 of his last 10 he hasn't played or something like that. And yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't feel like the front office knows what's going on there either. But yeah, you certainly hope that Jaren figured it out. My issue is that he still only had 4 rebounds. So that kind of that gives him less margin for error when you're talking about the points and the block shots. But it's definitely a good night if you were holding out hope that he would kind of turn things around.
Yeah.
Isaac, we appreciate you sending in actual questions. Like, no problem with the Orlando Magic fandom, but that's not like the point of this.
I'm just trying to figure out like some of these comps though. Like, I get, I've heard the Paolo for LeBron comp before. I just don't think that Paolo, I think that's like the idea of Paolo is LeBron, Anthony Black being the next Penny Hardaway. I don't know, man. I like Anthony Black. I don't know about Penny Hardaway. No comp here at all for Desmond Bane. He's just a dog. So I guess he's just one of one, just completely unique basketball player. Nobody's ever seen anything like him. The Franz Wagner, Dirk Nowitzki comp is it just, hey, they're both German?
They're both German.
Because I don't think that they're similar players. Anyways, correct. I don't want to run 5-on-5 with the Orlando Magic. We'd probably lose, Raph. If we played the Magic right now, we'd probably lose. I don't want to lose with them.
But you know who didn't lose on Saturday?
Oh.
That's right. Smoke was welcomed. So hey, it's all good. I like the Magic personally. I think they're headed in the right direction. They just need to stay healthy, but
yeah, I think they're good.
And Isaac likes Franz more than Banchero. I think from a fantasy standpoint, I would agree with you wholeheartedly in terms of fantasy value. Franz has been the more valuable player for sure. So Jalen Suggs has been really good in fantasy too thus far.
I just think Franz is a better player too, not just fantasy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the idea of Paolo Banchero is so exciting. I just don't think he has been that yet. But we did get Mitch Richmond as a comp for Desmond Bain. So I can respect that. I'm glad we got a comp there.
All right. Okay, what are your thoughts on Dyson Daniels for the rest of the season?
He had such a good offensive game the other day. I literally was so surprised. So it's when Trae Young gets back, he's not going to ever shoot 19 shots.
Mm-hmm.
The assists probably go down as well. It's probably going to be over when Trae Young gets back. If I can be like, the steals will be there for sure, 100%. Like he'll be an okay amount of assists and an okay amount of rebounds. He's not scoring 20. It makes me sad, and I know Kingy is now in the comments here, and it's probably gonna hurt that I'm having to speak negatively about Dyson Daniels. But I think when Trae Young is playing, it's gonna be like what was beginning of the season, and I'm just afraid that his usage is gonna tank, and we're probably not going to see what we have seen that's been fun over the past few weeks. Let's just get some steals, man.
Yeah, I think he'll have a relatively safe floor for the reasons that Noah mentioned. It's just that the ceiling's probably going to disappear once Trae Young is back. So, yeah, I think he can. I think about where he is right now. He's like top 70. I think he'd be about 75 or so in terms of rest of season value. That's where I'd place him if Trae Young is out there and relatively healthy. So.
But he's up there for greatest human ever. I can agree with that.
Is Miles Turner a buy low or just bad this year?
Probably just bad this year.
Yeah. You know my answer.
The stats comparison from when he's played with Tyrese Halliburton to not Tyrese Halliburton over the last 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not nearly as good, man.
Yeah. Do you guys think the Orlando Magic can be the best team in the East?
I mean, look, if you
I don't think it's impossible. They've got a lot of good talent on their roster, but
if you have LeBron James, Dirk Nowitzki, Penny Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Drew Holiday, and Al Horford all in their prime on the same team, I think they could be the best in the East.
Okay.
That's what we have. That's what I've been told we have.
See, I tried to be serious, but yeah, they're a good team. There's no doubt about that. Again, it's all about health with them, and it's been that way for the last few seasons. So, yeah. All right, should I trade Jabari Smith Jr. with Tari Eason coming back?
I don't really see his minutes changing by too much. I mean, he's been playing a large role all season, even when Tari Eason was healthy. I don't think I'd be looking to move him just because Tari Eason's coming back.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Jabari Smith fan too. So
yeah, he is pretty much what he is at this point. Maybe you get a top 100 season out of him, but I don't know. That's probably pretty close to a ceiling given that roster. So I wouldn't trade him, but I don't know. He's just someone to kind of have on your roster, if anything, kind of feels like. Oh, he got a personalized message.
Let's go.
I don't think Oklahoma City's done, but but
man,
I think
are they going to beat the Hawks this year? When they beat the Hawks, we'll talk.
Oh, they haven't played yet this year? Or wait,
they have. They've played twice.
The Hawks.
2-0.
Oh.
So I'm just saying, when they beat the Hawks, we'll talk.
All right. I gotta say, between the Southeast Division and the NFC South, the people down in the Southeast do your rivalries a little bit
Goodness.
differently.
It's
It's
a college football type of area, man.
yeah,
It just means more SEC stuff,
yeah.
you know.
It's not the same as like Falcons Saints, but that's usually a fun one when it comes to the back and forth.
It is. Unfortunately, both teams are just abysmal this year. I'm one to talk right about NFL teams, but anyways.
Okay. We talked about Ace Bailey earlier, but I don't know. Is he still holding for you right now, or
I'd say yes. Yeah.
yeah? If you've had him for this long, you might as well hold on to him for a bit because his role should only expand as the season progresses. Is Kobe White a good return in an outside trade? And no, Kobe is not ranked in the updated top 200. Overall production just hasn't been there recently. So all good, James. No problem answering that question for you. But let's focus. Kobe White for Alsar Thompson.
Kobe White or Sar Thompson. I'm going to use the stats cop out here. If you need the defensive stats of Sar Thompson, if you need more of the scoring, then Kobe White. So I think if you're looking to trade Sar Thompson and get back Kobe White, and you need those categories, I think that's a fine return.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Especially need the offense. So. Okay. Let's see here.
Okay.
Dominic Barlow or Jock Landale?
Gosh. The exciting questions that keep me up at night.
That's a good question. I never thought that we would be considering it, but Dominic Barlow's been solid. And Landale's got, even though he's coming off the bench, more opportunity with Zach Edey out. I think I'd lean Landale, but it's pretty close.
I'm probably gonna go Barlow just because he's been starting.
Yeah.
And that upside there is a little bit more for me than what Landale has. So.
I think that's a good way to kind of wrap this up. It's like, that's going to be enough for us today. Thank you all for tuning in with your questions and comments and comparisons. We will be back on Friday at 2 p.m. Enjoy the games tonight. Thursday is going to be really busy. You got 12 games on the schedule, so back to business as usual after a 2-game Wednesday. So,
yeah,
myself and Noah, thanks again for tuning in, guys. No worries, James. Have a good one, man.